Hi, Reverend Colonel. About a year ago, I started a project. I put Raptor lining on the bed of my truck. So we're going to do touch up 1 year later. Alright, you can see most of it's held up real well. I've already started priming in the back there, but you can see some spots like here where I guess I didn't have good enough primer coat maybe on some of those spots, or the metal just wasn't adhered well. The actual metal or paint rather. Alright guys, so I had everything taped off and everything, but you know it's Texas. And it got cold the next day, and now it's warm again. So now it's optimal temperature. Yesterday was barely warm enough, and I really didn't want to chance it. But this is that Raptor bed liner. I did it a year ago, a little over a year ago, and it held up pretty decently, really, most places. I mean, I had patches and rust and all kinds of stuff. And so anyway, I'm getting ready to recoat on here. I primed all the bare metal that there was to make sure that it covers better this time, and hopefully I will get more than another year out of this. But I had bought enough the first time around that it gave me enough to do a second coat, so that's what I'm going to do, is do another coat on this. So you can see I got everything covered. Don't want to get it on anything I don't want it on. And this is Raptor by Upol, and this is what you get. Comes with this gun, which is pretty handy. I've got it all put together now, and it is a siphon gun that goes straight into their bottle. The gun is pretty solid, pretty decent. I like it. It's all metal. This is the liner, and what I do is there's a fill line right here, and you add hardener into that and shake it up real good for a long time, and then hook it up onto here, onto the sprayer, and start spraying. You want about 40 pounds of pressure or so. So I've got it set right around 40 for my tools, and you can see there a little dirt on there. And so I'm getting ready to go and do this Raptor bed liner part 2. Okay guys, so I got it all sprayed. It's still wet. It'll be wet for a little while, a couple hours or so to touch. It's really got to set for like a couple of days, 3 days before you do anything semi-heavy on it. Obviously, the longer you wait, the harder this stuff gets. And could have been part of my problem last time. I might have got too aggressive too early. But you can see I had 2 bottles left, and I barely got recovered. But it looks like a new bed all over again. You can see taping things off and all that makes a big difference. And I'll put my tailgate back on in a few hours after it's dried a little bit more. Some of that gloss will wear off when it dries, and it'll look more even. Might have been some of the spots I went a little heavier in, but I got everything covered. I only had 2 bottles left, and it was enough to do a touch up, and that was including that I had to prime some stuff and actually redo probably, I don't know, an eighth of it. But if you ask me for the money, the Raptor by Upol I think is definitely worth it. It's a very easy to use, very easy kit. It's not hard. It's very forgiving. I went ahead and bumped up my air pressure to about 50-55, and it seemed to work better. I don't know, maybe my nozzle wasn't as clean from last time, but it looked pretty clean. So anyway, It got a nice covering on there. It's got a nice texture. That'll be a nice grip when you're wet or anything like that. You know, you don't have to worry about slipping. Um, you know, we'll see how it goes for another year. It's been over a year, just slightly, and the majority of it did very well. But like I said, I do construction, and I had some hauling of things, and I've had rocks back here and concrete and just, major stuff, and considering all that, really held up very well. So, if this will last me maybe a couple years this time before I had to touch it up again, then, you know, so be it. It's better than having a scratched up truck bed, and it's better than having rust. So I'm happy with it. Sometimes you just have to renew the armor because the armor gets chinks in it. All right, so I mean, just like this truck bed, even us, we get chinks in our armor. The Apostle Paul talks about the armor of God, and what that armor is, and that armor is what protects us and keeps us safe. And as we go through life and we go through things that happen in life, and the devil tries to do stuff to us, and the world does stuff to us, and all kinds of things, you get some chinks in your armor, and so you got to renew your armor. You got to keep your armor strong. You got to make sure it's reinforced. And how do you do that, Reverend Colonel? I mean, how do I repair that stuff? Well, the best way to repair that stuff is to be in prayer regularly, daily if you can. You got to be in prayer every day, and you got to read His Word on a regular basis. Daily, I think, is best, but if you can etch out just a few hours between 2 or 3 days a week, just like I've talked about working out before, to where you're getting, a good 4 or 6 hours of prayer and reading time every week, it's going to make a huge difference, especially if the only thing you're doing right now is praying at the dinner table, and just praying when something comes up. And so, just ask Him to repair your armor, to put that protection around you, to keep you protected, to protect your family and your loved ones. And God will do it. He will honor your prayers. So that's about all I've got on that. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed this about the Upol bed liner and my little thing about keeping your armor strong. Please, push that button down there, that says subscribe, because the more subscribers I get, the more people that will get to hear the wonderful news about God in this unique way. And so I need people to subscribe, and likes are a good thing too. And if you got any messages, I'll try to do my best to reply. So anyway, follow my YouTube channel. In the meantime, keep your souls clean and your boots dirty. This is the way. Reverend Colonel signing out.